This is the Recycling, Scrap Metal, Commodities, and Economic Report, August 25th, 2025. U.S. weekly raw steel production rose to 1.774 million tons, up 2.8% from last year, and up 1.3% year-to-date. This was on the 50% steel tariff protection and the slowing U.S. economy. WTI crude oil price rose slightly to $63.77 a barrel on Russian attacks on a Ukrainian refinery. Also on weak German economic data, but with lower interest rates coming. U.S. weekly crude oil production rose slightly to 13.382 million barrels per day, remaining near December's all-time high. U.S. producers remain cautious as OPEC Plus increases production. Higher production brings lower prices and lower profits for oil companies. The U.S. weekly crude oil rig count fell to 411 on great productivity per well and cautious producers. Scrap steel number one HMS composite price was steady at $311.67 a gross ton on slow U.S. and global demand. Hot rolled coil steel price rose slightly to $41.50 a hundredweight, which is $8.30 a ton, but it's been trending down. This is on a slight increase in U.S. manufacturing and a good supply. Copper price fell to $4.46 a pound, near a 4-month low on a slowing global economy. Aluminum price rose slightly to $1.19 a pound, which is $26.23 a metric ton, remaining somewhat low on slow Chinese demand. U.S. Federal Reserve speech. The chair announced interest rates could come down soon. The economy is slowing, and increased inflation is believed to be a one-time tariff issue. Lower interest rates should bring increased economic activity. U.S. 10-year Treasury note, which is a key mortgage rate indicator. It fell to 4.26% on the announcements of possible Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. Note that despite announcing government spending cuts and new tariff income, there is still near record government deficits, which brings near record borrowing, which causes higher interest rates. U.S. August U of M Consumer Sentiment Survey dropped to 58.6, which was below market expectations. This was on growing inflation concerns as the current conditions index fell. U.S. July home building permits fell 2.8% to 1.354 million annualized, the rate from the 1960s, 60 years ago. High home prices and high interest rates remain problematic. S&P Global U.S. August Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index rose to 53.3, the highest since May 2022. Factory employment and inventories grew as new orders rose. But new tariffs announced last week will raise input costs. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 688 points to 45,632, a new record high as the Federal Reserve announced possible interest rate cuts that we just mentioned due to the slowing economy. Also, on the increased inflation is the one-time tariff issue, but it's getting dragged out. It was announced last week that there could be furniture tariffs coming in 2 months. This is Greg Brown. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions, and we hope all have a safe and profitable week.